This is the Padua Podcast Network. Now, there is a Lewy Body Dementia Association, and a lot of resources are available at lbda.org. You can actually buy an LBDA t-shirt for your dog. Running a Fever, episode 230, Lewy Body Dementia. Up, you're awake, quacking. September morning. We danced until the night became a brand new day. Two lovers playing scenes, some romantic play. September morning still can make me feel that way. The Neil Diamond song from my younger days. Neil enjoying memories, romantic memories from his past. You see, the older you get, the more memories you have. It's one of the values of getting older, is the accumulation of memories. It's valuable in a lot of ways. But the romantic memories can bring back that emotional feeling. So, you can imagine that treasure being taken away from you can be a traumatic experience and quite a loss. But that loss is one of the symptoms of the dementia that we've been discussing these past few episodes. Welcome to Running Fever. It's a lovely, cool September morning. I'm surprised, really. It's a 50, in the 50s this morning, which is quite a bit cooler than it has been. And I had no idea because I've got my car in the toasty warm garage from didn't really cool down overnight, and I didn't really get outside. Actually, I think it's cooler here than it is at my house. I can hear sirens on both sides of the lake. Fading away now, though. So yeah, it's kind of cool. I'm sure that I could be uncomfortable, but I can see my breath. Very humid. Yes, dementia. So, this is the 7th in our 17-part series on dementia. About 50 million people worldwide suffer from dementia. It's a debilitating disease, but may be preventable. And that's why I've set out to learn as much as I can and bring you along with me in that learning process. Learning journey. Part 3 of the series, I went through the many types of dementia, and we're going to have a separate episode on the most common of those. And this is the 4th of that series within a series. We're talking about Lewy Body Dementia, also known as, abbreviated as LBD. LBD affects more than 1 million Americans. It typically begins at age 50 or older, although sometimes younger people have it. Age is sometimes, when they're trying to figure out what you got, which is what doctors do. Age is one of the factors. If you come in and you're 25, they're going to probably look for something else as the cause of the symptoms. Sometimes younger people have it, of course. It is slightly more common in men than in women, but not considered a genetic disease, and there's no predictive gene test. However, research is ongoing to find more genes that may indicate LBD risk. Lewy bodies are, that's Lewy, Lewy, abnormal protein deposits that disrupt the brain's normal functioning. The specific protein is called alpha-synuclein, and Lewy bodies are named after the doctor who discovered them, Friedrich Lewy, a German neurologist, who in 1912 discovered deposits like this in people with Parkinson's disease. Probably just cruising through the brain, saying, what can we learn about Parkinson's? Here's a person with Parkinson's, here's one without. We've done all these autopsies, we know what a normal brain looks like. What's abnormal about this one? Friedrich Lewy, German neurologist, in 1912 discovered such deposits in people with Parkinson's disease. So 1912, of course, probably the most important event of 1912 is Boston Red Sox beginning for the first time, starting to play at Fenway Park. And they still play there today, 108 years later. Boston Red Sox baseball team. Diagnosis is, of course, challenging, as it is with all forms of dementia. And there are two different diagnoses. That's dementia with Lewy bodies and Parkinson's disease dementia. So you can tell that this type of dementia is closely tied to Parkinson's. So there are a ton of symptoms. So here they are. Lewy body dementia affects thinking, movement, behavior, and mood. Can cause visual hallucinations, sleep difficulties, and problems with focus and attention. So a little more on movement, because Lewy body dementia is linked with Parkinson's. These symptoms are called Parkinsonism, and they include muscle rigidity or stiffness, a shuffling walk, slow movement, or frozen stance, tremor or shaking, most commonly at rest, balance problems and repeated falls, stooped posture, loss of coordination, smaller handwriting than was usual for the person, difficulty swallowing, and a weak voice. In this whole study of dementia, I'm really starting to feel for the doctors who have to try and diagnose this stuff. I mean, it's just so, you can give somebody a handwriting test. These things are just kind of, they're different, but I don't know. I guess I'm over 50, but I don't think dementia is the first thing that comes to mind when I go to my doctor and I tell him I have trouble swallowing, which I have done actually. And I've talked about it on this show. I have Forester's disease, also known as dish. So, man, there are a lot of symptoms, and I guess if they all add up, it could be LBD, but maybe it's something else. Who knows? Lots of Parkinson's symptoms. Of course, you can have both. Anyway, if you or someone experiences those symptoms, then should be checked for Parkinson's. All right, what causes LBD? An accumulation of Lewy bodies is associated with a loss of certain neurons in the brain that produce two important neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are chemicals that act as messengers between brain cells. Acetylcholine, which is important for memory and learning, thus my pained, tortured singing at the beginning of the show. Dopamine, which is important in behavior, condition, or cognition, movement, sleep, and mood. And of course, you can go back to episode 151 if you want to know all about dopamine. Whole entire episode on that particular hormone. Risk factors. One of the things is just like trying to do something about a disease. As you try to group people together and say, what did they do differently? I think that's all research is. Trying to decide what's special about this particular ailment. And these things that people have in common indicate a risk. All right, the big risk factor is age. Most people who develop the disorder are over age 50. No lifestyle factor has been proven to increase risk of LBD. There are diseases, though, that may increase risk. Parkinson's, as I mentioned before. REM sleep behavior disorder. And we discussed genetics earlier. Not much there, but they are researching it. Prognosis. The life expectancy of someone with LBD is between 2 and 20 years, with the average being 5 to 8 years. Speed of progression varies, but symptoms start slowly with only mild impairment. In later stages, the person with LBD often becomes fully dependent on others. So, other than the usual palliative care, there are some medications approved for treating LBD symptoms and some specific indications and warnings regarding the use of these medications in patients with LBD. That's where you need a doctor to make sure you're getting the right treatment. Speed of progression varies, but symptoms start slowly with only mild impairment. In later stages, the person with LBD often becomes fully dependent on others. Now, there is a Lewy Body Dementia Association, and a lot of resources are available at lbda.org. lbda.org. You can actually buy an LBDA t-shirt for your dog. So if you're like a lot of the people I encounter on these walks, you have a dog, you can put the LBDA t-shirt on your dog and help increase awareness of LBD. But seriously though, there are resources for caregivers there and a locator for local support groups. In fact, I found a support group 9 miles from my house. And I think every state has at least one. But so don't think that you're all alone in your battle with LBD. Either for yourself or a friend or family member. Because there are plenty of people out there that you can connect with. I think every state has at least one. But be sure to check the website. Definitely, if you have LBD or know someone with it, you can also volunteer and donate there. So, also at the LBDA website, and I saw this on the NIH website as well, they list opportunities to participate in studies, clinical trials. I mean, I don't often see a lot of this, so I think that's an indication that probably there's a lot of work going on in that area, because they're definitely looking for people with and without LBD to participate. All right, well, this taught me a lot about a disease I never knew about until I started this learning journey for dementia. And I really hope that that you've also gotten some benefit out of it. And as always, if you got the fever, keep it. And if you don't, catch it. Talk to you next time on Running a Fever.